Hi foodies, and welcome to another episode of PJ Cooks Sexy Food. In today's episode, we are going to be making that New York diner staple, matzo ball
The
soup.
ingredients for our matzo ball soup base is going to consist of 2 quarts of chicken stock that we made in a previous video. We are going to need 8 ounces of the chicken strips from the chicken thigh video. We're going to need 1/2 cup of sliced carrot, 1/2 cup of diced onion, and 1/2 cup of diced celery. For our matzo balls, we are going to need 3 extra large eggs. I have 4 medium eggs here, which is the same equivalent. We have 3 tablespoons of our chicken stock. We have 3/4 of a cup of matzo meal. We have 3 tablespoons of schmaltz, which is the rendered chicken fat video. We have 1/2 teaspoon of dried dill, 1/2 teaspoon of dried parsley, 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of pepper, and 1 teaspoon of kosher salt. So to begin, in a saucepan, we're going to combine our 2 quarts of chicken stock, our carrots, our onion, and our celery. And we're going to place that on a burner on low heat. While our soup is starting to heat up, I'm going to take the chicken strips that we have from when we butchered the chicken legs and thighs and the quarters, and I'm going to cut those strips into thinner strips by cutting them into thirds, following along the grain. So when you look at the piece of meat, you'll see the grain goes in this direction. So I'm going to cut it into longer, thinner strips. And we have 8 ounces of them here. And these are going to go into our pot with our vegetables on the low heat, just to bring it up to a simmer. And these are going to poach in the liquid as our vegetables get tender. While our soup is going, I went ahead and filled up another pot with water. This is the water that we are actually going to cook the matzo balls in, and then we are going to serve it with the broth from the other pot. For this particular pot of water, we want to season this slightly with some kosher salt. We don't want to put too much because there is going to be salt in the matzo ball, but we want them to have some flavor. So I'm just going to add about a tablespoon or so of kosher salt, put it on to the burner, and get that up to a rolling boil. So let's mix our matzo ball dough. So to begin, I have the eggs in a bowl, and I've started to beat them. Now I'm going to add in the schmaltz, mix that up until it is combined. Once it's combined, I'm going to add in the matzo meal, the baking powder, the dill, the parsley, and the salt and pepper. We're just going to stir this together with the fork just until combined. Now that everything is combined, we are going to go ahead and add in the broth. Switching over to a spoon, we're going to work the broth in until it is smooth. Once it has become smooth, we're going to wrap this in plastic wrap, and we're going to put this in the refrigerator for 1 hour. So our matzo ball dough has been in the refrigerator for an hour now. Now we're going to go ahead and shape our matzo balls. Using a 1.5 tablespoon scooper, I'm going to go in, gently scoop out, and 1.5 tablespoons. Wearing gloves, I'm just going to gently roll them into a ball. I'm going to put them on the plate. I'm going to continue until I make all the matzo balls. I went ahead and I rolled all the matzo balls. Now I'm going to introduce them into the cooking. So our water is at a full boil. Now we're going to add our matzo balls into the water as quickly as possible to get them all in at the same time. Once all the matzo balls are in, we're going to put the cover on the pot, and we're going to let this reduce the heat to a simmer. And we're going to let this simmer for about 30 to 45 minutes until the matzo balls are light, fluffy, and cooked. So it's been 40 minutes. Our matzo balls have been on a low simmer. Let's turn off the heat and take a look and see how they are. Oh wow, you can see how big they've gotten. They're more than doubled in size. They're perfect for our matzo ball soup. So let's go ahead and plate this up. Go ahead and plate up our soup for some finishing touches. Maybe a little chopped parsley. And some of that gribbinets from yesterday, the fried chicken skin and onions. Oh, doesn't that look good? I hope you enjoyed this recipe, and I hope you like making it at home.